Farm. So I thought I would do this video just because we have a plethora of green tomatoes that I know for sure they're so small that they're just not going to obviously redden up before, obviously before fall and the cold temperatures set in. So usually when that happens, I'm originally from the East Coast, so we make something called chow. And chow is your basic green tomato relish with onion. And then what we do is we would obviously take the tops off of these, wash them down, chop them up in the food processor, and then leave them overnight after we salt them and leave them in the bowl. So that's what I'm doing right now. These have been washed. I don't actually chop and core my tomatoes because let's face it, these are so small. If I did that, then we really wouldn't have any tomatoes left. So basically all we do is we just take the tomatoes after they're washed and we toss them on up into the food processor. And this one can actually handle a fair amount, which is good. This one is a KitchenAid, and it can take about, I think it says here about 13 to 15 cups. So we'll just put in as much as we can squeeze in here. I gotta do this, and then I gotta go back outside and help the boys move some dirt with the tractor for our new shop that we're putting in today. So we're gonna stop it here. So basically what I've done is I've just loaded this up. Now maybe I'll try and squeeze a few more in. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the cap on, and then from here, we're just gonna basically pulse it and turn it on high. This is just the regular food processor. It doesn't do anything special. And then we're gonna turn it on, dump the green tomato puree out in a bowl, and then we're gonna salt it and we're gonna cover it with a tea towel and leave it overnight, because what that will do is it will draw all the water out of the tomatoes, and that's what we're looking for it to do. So make sure that all the tomatoes are underneath the mixture. And now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cover this with a tea towel and we'll be good to go. And it's gonna sit here overnight and until the morning, until I'm ready to further process it. So that's step one. Okay guys, so it is the morning after. So what I've done is the green tomato puree that I put in the bowl, I've washed it thoroughly with water through a strainer. And then basically what you do is you pop it on in here with 3 cups of vinegar, 6 cups of sugar, and there's gonna be 16 cups of green tomatoes. And you're gonna put in about 4 or 5 onions. It's really gonna depend on your taste, on what you actually like for a green relish. And then what I like to do is I like to add a bag of pickling spice. So you're gonna take your cheesecloth bag or whatever you have, and you're gonna add in probably about, I usually use about 3 tablespoons of pickling spices. I tie up the bag and I toss it all in here. And normally during the day when I've got things to do, I like to actually let the pot simmer down. I use my Instapot. I don't know what I would do without this, but I use my Instapot. I throw it on slow cook. You can throw it on normal or high because you're basically gonna come back in a couple of hours and let this sort of simmer down a little bit, because you can actually, when you hit saute on this, it actually acts as a boiling button, which is kind of nice. So I'm gonna let this sort of soak up the pickling spice taste, let it sort of slow cook for probably about 3 to 4 hours, and then come back and let it simmer down a little bit more and thicken up, and then we're gonna put it in our jars. So guys, I've began my boil. So I've thrown the Instapot on saute. I put it on more, and then that way what'll happen is it will begin to actually boil up here, and you got to make sure that you're, you know, keeping an eye on it because you don't want it to burn at the bottom. And also, my secret weapon doing the green relish is celery seed. So I do add a sprinkle or two of celery seed in here, and I'll stir it in and basically keep an eye on this, like I said, to make sure that it doesn't burn. My spice bag is in here, as you can see. I still leave the spice bag in as I'm stirring, and we'll remove that shortly before canning. So that's it. We're probably gonna boil this. I'm gonna say, I know it says 30 minutes on the saute, but we'll probably double it up. So we'll probably boil this down for about an hour. And then what we're going to be doing is actually putting it in the jars and canning it. Okay guys, so I've just lifted the pot basically out so you could see what I have here in terms of how much a slow cooker can cook this stuff down. So as you can tell, it's actually cooked it down really nice and thick, and that's what I like about relish. I used to not be able to do that, and I would skip that step where I boiled it down, and it would actually make it really runny. So over the years, I've learned to boil it down really well, and it comes out nice and thick. So we're gonna basically just be filling up the jars. Now, I'm only gonna do 5 pints at a time. Somebody's already here wanting me to give them a jar of this, so we're gonna be filling it up 5 pints at a time, throwing it into the pressure, well, actually it's gonna be boiling water bath for 30 minutes. So I'm gonna throw that in the jars right now and get that done, and we're gonna throw it in the boiling water bath for 30 minutes. So let's see what this looks like here when I put it in. Like that. It's nice and thick, so this is good. You don't want it too runny because then it's almost like you're eating soup, not relish. Excellent. And of course, you know, at this point, you don't want to really fill it up more than maybe at the shoulder because this is going to expand. So let's fill these up, and then what we'll do is put them in the canner. So here are my last 2 jars that are going into the boiling water bath, and this will be going in for 30 minutes. Okay guys, so here we are. We actually canned 7 pints of the green tomato relish. They actually all sealed up really nice as soon as I pulled them out of the canner, so they're all done. Actually, I had 8 pints, but somebody stole one, so I have 7 here ready to go. Leave it sit for at least a month or so to let it sort of get a little bit more strong. You know, the longer you sit, actually, the better it tastes. So guys, thanks for joining me along today with my journey of making my green tomato relish. I'm not really sure all my tomatoes are gonna turn red outside, so we're gonna be making a lot of relish and things with that. Thumbs up to subscribe, obviously, or even just a thumbs up if you like the content of the video. And as always, see you soon. And for everybody out there, have a really great long weekend.